Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out Entitled People. Story 1. Entitled Karen at a Packed Restaurant. For a bit of background information before I share this short story, my mother and I went to Pennsylvania to visit my sister for about a week as we haven't seen each other in person for over 4 years. During one of the last couple of days of our visit, my mother, my sister, one of her friends who she's living with, and I went to a local restaurant that she looked up via Google Maps as we were looking to try eating at some place new. Now, I don't remember the exact name of the restaurant, but I do know that it's on the riverside and it has tequila in its name. Now, on to the story. We arrived at the restaurant and parked in a parking lot across the street from the establishment, and we head inside. As we were heading in, we noticed that the restaurant is packed with lots of customers and the place looks to be understaffed. There didn't seem to be that many waiters/waitresses on duty, but all 4 of us can tell that they are giving it their all to serve all these people, despite the circumstances. One thing I was surprised about was that we were able to be seated so quickly, even if the place looks packed to the brim. So, we sat down, ordered an appetizer, and waited patiently for it to arrive. During this time, we chatted about some personal things that aren't worth sharing, and when our appetizer arrived, the waitress forgot to give us the cheese sauce that would normally come with our fries. I politely pointed this out to her after she dropped off our food. She apologized, and she went back to the kitchen to get our cheese sauce. No big deal, as from what we can tell, our waitress is serving 7 tables total, including ours. Eventually, we got our cheese sauce for our appetizer and then ordered our main meals. My mom got a baked potato with pork and barbecue sauce inside the potato that was the size of my head. My sister got a sandwich, I think. I can't remember for sure, and some fries. My sister's friend got something else that I can't recall, and I got myself a pepperoni calzone. Our food arrived and everyone's food was correct, except mine. My calzone had ham or salami in it, which is something I don't like. So, I politely informed our waitress that my order was wrong and told her what was wrong with it. She apologized, and I told her it wasn't a big deal. She offered to take the calzone back and have the cooks remake it, which I had her do. All seemed good, despite the mistakes that were made so far. Considering everything that was going on, dealing with a restaurant that was packed with hungry people and being short-handed, our waitress was handling things like a champ until my mom and sister overheard an entitled Karen over at a table next to us. I didn't hear the conversation myself, as I was staring off into space, waiting for my food to be remade. Which, by the time it was remade, it was done properly, which was nice. From what I heard Mom and my sister mention as they were talking to each other, this Karen was complaining about how the food was terrible, the service was sloppy, and how they were going to complain to our waitress manager about their slow, piss-poor service. As Mom and my sister were conversing, my sister's friend joined in the conversation as well to offer her own input, and as they were talking and taking all this information in, I agreed with everyone in my party that this Karen is just being entitled, and we were practically singing our waitress praises as she worked her butt off serving our table, plus several others at the same time. In the end, when we were ready to receive our check and leave, we told our waitress that she did an excellent job that evening, thanked her for all of her hard work, and we gave her a very generous tip. I think we ended up tipping her $50 that evening, but I could be wrong about that amount. Regardless, we gave her a really good tip, and I strongly believe that we raised her spirits at least a little bit, which felt really good. My sister also offered to stand up for this waitress if she were to receive a complaint from her manager, shift leader, or whomever her boss is, thanks to this entitled Karen. Overall, the food was delicious, and the service was top-notch. If Mom and I were to go back to PA again, we'll definitely revisit this restaurant and hopefully, not encounter any more Karens who can't appreciate good customer service, even if it's being served right in front of their face. Story 2. Battle of the Bananas. This happened to me last month, so decided to write it as a story for enjoyment value. While it wasn't fun at the time, I can certainly laugh about it now, especially writing it this way makes light of the situation at the time. I have several more entitled people stories, I don't know why they v-line for me sometimes. Names have been changed for privacy reasons. Cast: Karen 40 plus F me Sarah 35 plus F Mr. Anderson, Manager 30 plus. Karen, a 40-year-old woman with a penchant for creating chaos wherever she went, found herself in the bustling aisles of a local supermarket. She was known for her demanding and confrontational nature, and today was no exception. As she browsed the produce section, her eyes fell upon a bunch of perfectly ripened bananas held tightly in the hands of a fellow shopper, Sarah. Karen's gaze fixated on the bananas, and an unsettling determination grew within her. Oblivious to the notion of personal boundaries and social decorum, she approached Sarah with a sense of entitlement, her face twisted into a scowl. "Those bananas!" Karen exclaimed, pointing her finger towards the coveted fruit. "I demand that you give them to me right this instant." Startled by the abrupt encounter, Sarah looked at Karen with a mix of surprise and confusion. She was a kind-hearted woman, unaccustomed to such aggressive behavior. Sensing the tension rising, the surrounding shoppers exchanged glances of discomfort, unsure of what was about to unfold. Summoning her courage, Sarah responded in a calm but firm voice, "I'm sorry, but these bananas are for my family. I can't just give them to you." Karen's face reddened with rage. She raised her voice to a screech, attracting the attention of other customers and store employees. "How dare you defy me? I'm a loyal customer, and I deserve those bananas more than anyone else. Give them to me now." The supermarket manager, Mr. Anderson, happened to be nearby and rushed over to address the escalating situation. He recognized Karen's reputation for causing trouble and knew he needed to handle the matter tactfully. Approaching Karen and Sarah, Mr. Anderson spoke in a calm and composed manner, trying to defuse the tension. "Ladies, let's try to find a solution here. Sarah, these bananas are indeed available for purchase. Karen, we have plenty of other options you can choose from." Karen huffed indignantly, crossing her arms and refusing to budge. "No. I want those bananas. I won't settle for anything less." Understanding the importance of swift resolution, Mr. Anderson made a decisive decision. "Karen, I'm sorry, but those bananas belong to Sarah. She arrived here first and has the right to purchase them. I can assure you we have other fresh produce you can select from. However, I kindly ask that you refrain from causing further disturbance in the store." Karen seethed with anger, but the manager's calm authority forced her to reconsider her approach. With an exaggerated huff, she stomped away from Sarah and the coveted bananas, her demands left unfulfilled. The tension in the supermarket eased, and the atmosphere returned to normalcy. Shoppers resumed their daily tasks, their lingering glances acknowledging the unpleasant incident that had occurred moments before. Sarah, grateful for the intervention, approached Mr. Anderson with appreciation. "Thank you for handling that, Mr. Anderson. It was quite unsettling, but I appreciate your swift action." The manager smiled reassuringly. "You're welcome, Sarah. It's important for us to ensure a safe and respectful shopping experience for everyone. Enjoy your bananas, and have a wonderful day." As the supermarket returned to its bustling routine, Karen skulked away, a stark reminder of the potential ugliness that can lurk within human interactions. Sarah, on the other hand, left the store with her bananas, carrying a renewed sense of gratitude for the small acts of kindness and respect that can brighten even the darkest encounters. Story 3. Entitled Lady Who Can't Understand the Registers Are Down and Wants Her Scratch-Offs. My store had a blackout a few days ago, a full-on 3 to 4 blocks blackout that lasted 3 hours. My store was affected and the registers and lotto machine were down. We were turning people away unless they needed to use a bathroom. Some were regulars who understood the whole problem because their house was also in the area. Then there was a lady who has an addiction to lotto scratch tickets, LK, Lottery Karen. This lady was known to drop at least $500 in scratches and stay in my store for hours. On this day, my manager decided to lock the front door and used his cell phone to call the district manager. We basically had to keep the doors shut and posted a sign saying no services, which we thought was enough. LK shows as I post the sign and lock the door to wait for district manager to come. She is banging on the door when I tell her. Power outage, registers are down, sorry. Can't you give me a few scratch tickets, I have money. She has literally no concept of this, I guess. Sorry, I can't, registers are down. She rolls her eyes and starts to talk to me like I am stupid. I have money. I am getting annoyed. Look, I may be learning disabled, but this is not okay. I am not letting you in. Please come back when we have power. I lock the door and go back to moving some items to the drink frig. She continues to bang on the door and I see my manager, who tells her to leave. Tell your retard to let me in, I have money, I want to. She is immediately shot down. Didn't she tell you the registers are down? My manager is looking at me and has a rather hard expression. She did, but you can ring it up when the power comes back, right? Manager finally decides to make a final say, we are done, no, you are not getting anything until the power comes back on. About an hour later the power is back on and the registers are down, we had to call the help center. It took another hour for the registers to be restarted. Who shows up? LK, banging on the door and pointing on the lights. Power is on. I can buy tickets. My manager and I are now staring at each other. Okay, I am done. He walks outside and decides to tell her to leave. I can hear him say it, you have a problem, you need to get help. Please stop coming here. We are not selling you tickets. She storms off complaining at us about how corporate is going to hear about how we treated her. District manager was also in the parking lot as she walked off. He saw the whole thing and said we handled it better than he could have. FYI, our store has 3 resident scratch-off addicts, 2 are sweet as heck and they agreed with our decisions when we cut them off. LK is the one who is rude and doesn't like being told no. To sum it up, our store gets a blackout and LK cannot get it in her head that we can't sell her scratch-off tickets. Then shows how unreasonable she is. Story 4. Entitled Karen Cause Traffic Jam. Okay, so this is happening 2:15 BST and there is this 7-day school trip to France for year 7s and 90% of them are going. This Karen I haven't seen, but she stopped at the exit to drop off her kid, which is fine, but she proceeded to leave it for like 15 minutes to talk with others. This is a problem since, as I mentioned, this is the only exit. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.